class is now in session. Was that corny? I don't know. Hi, I'm Tatiana. I'm a second-year veterinary student and I post here on YouTube, school content, fitness and wellness, reading content. Subscribe if you haven't. This is how I like to study and the way I was able to get straight A's last semester in veterinary school. The way that I study is drastically different now that I'm in veterinary school versus when I was in undergrad. A lot of them focus on saving time because you find that once you get to like grad school, med school, law school, vet school, anything like that, you just don't have the time that you used to have to dedicate to your classes because it's so fast paced and there's so much information. Feel free to stick around if you are an undergrad as well. This will be super duper helpful for you as well. So first things first, this is more of a tip. I use the smallest amount of resources possible, but I use my favorites. There are so many resources out there in this digital age that we live in. For whatever you're studying, you'll be able to find resources to help you. And I have adopted only a few and I stick to those and I don't deviate because that's what works for me and I don't have the time otherwise. So you'll hear me in this video talk a lot about Anki and a lot about YouTube, and those are my main two little guys that I really stick to. When I get material, I do not do a like initial read through of it. I don't do like sitting and passively reading. I don't have the time. That's time that I did have in undergrad. It's time that I don't have now. I want to spend the least amount of time taking notes and reading the material. You want to spend the most time actually actively learning the material. We get modules or we get readings. I have my laptop in double screen. The left of the screen will be whatever reading that I have, and then the right of the screen will be my Anki, and I'm just making cards as I'm going through. I'm honestly not really learning anything, honestly, like in this first little bit, because the learning comes when I'm doing my Anki. I'm not concerned about it right now. I'm concerned about getting it into the platform that I'm going to use to study it and doing that as quickly as possible. If we have like weekly quizzes or something like that, Monday or Sunday is my day to get all of the material moved, transitioned over to my Anki, and the rest of the days are spent in Anki. I'm not spending any more time in the module itself. I don't have the time to do that, and I don't recommend spending a ton of time just sitting and reading it. You need to move on, like, period. I'm sorry. This will not work for everyone. It depends on you. I genuinely just stopped attending lectures. I found that going through slides and going through modules and going through the reading is better for me. And that's just me personally. I think it's because I have it there available to like literally copy and paste it into my Anki, as opposed to like attending lectures and kind of honestly wasting my time because I'm not really actively paying attention the best I can. I also did go to review lectures most of the time. So like sometimes the day before quizzes, we would have like a brief review session and I would go to those just to hear everyone else's questions. I don't really tend to come with questions. 99% of the time, any question I have I can figure it out myself. I like to hear other people's questions, and it just makes me feel like I'm solidified in like what I know. I can give a super in-depth tutorial on my Anki if anyone's interested, but I will say I keep my Anki as simple as possible. For the most part, I'll have like a term or like a sentence, and then the remainder of it is like a huge chunk that is the answer that I want to know, because once you get to med school, once you get to vet school, once you get to law school, you kind of need to know the details. You just don't know what's going to be asked in an examination and an assessment, and I just think it's important to really know as much as you can know and dedicate time to that. And so that's why I do not spend as much time just sitting and reading. Once my Anki is all made, grounding myself in those resources, this is the time to do that. This is the time you have to spend doing that. My favorite method, yours could be completely different. You could love, like, I don't know what else there even is, like Khan Academy. I love YouTube and I stick to YouTube because you can find anything there, and I love finding videos, which is funny because I know I just said I don't like lectures, I don't watch lectures, I don't go to class, but we're looking at, you know, some kind of blood flow situation, I'm able to see the vessel, I'm able to see the blood cells moving in the vessels, like things like that. I love being able to, I think I am like a visual learner in that way, and that's why I cannot learn with someone just like talking at me for an hour. I'm not going to listen, it's not possible. So I will listen though if I'm able to see it in motion, like see the anatomy, see the system, see the function, whatever we're learning. I have to watch YouTube videos, genuinely. Even my animal behavior class last semester, like even that I needed to watch videos on like training videos, on animal training videos. But everyone learns differently. So if you are a lecture person, then this is your time to like sit and listen to lectures, and like please do not listen to lectures in 1x speed though. You don't have the time, I promise. Try to at least do like 2 times. You need to be like sitting and paying attention, because like I said, this is my time where I'm like actively learning this for the first time. All I've done before this was make Ankis without really looking at what I'm doing, but now I'm like locked in, and I won't move on from this card until I understand it. Not until I've memorized all the words on it, until I know exactly what the process is. I could explain it to you. Once I've seen all of the cards at least once, I'm pretty much done watching videos, and I'm exclusively studying. I'm exclusively on Anki. I will say, watching videos though, usually that happens until the end. So like if the quiz is on Friday, it'll happen until like Friday morning and Thursday evening, whatever, whenever I'm done studying for it, because I usually haven't seen all the cards until I'm done. I don't try to break my neck seeing all the cards on the first day, because I don't have time, and there's only enough time for you to spend getting to know each card well before moving on. There's not enough time for you to like, oh, let me like look at them first and like kind of get a general understanding of them first, and then I'll like go back and then I'll actually learn them. Like no, like I don't move on from that card until I'm done with it. So sometimes on like Thursday, I still have day 1 cards in my deck because I still don't understand it that well. And so Thursday I'll really like lock, because sometimes I push it off because I'm like, this is confusing to me, I don't want to do it yet, I'll do it later. So then Thursday is like, okay, like lock in on those ones that you didn't want to do before, because this is your last chance. It's always going to be something like, there's always going to be that one thing that's like, I could have spent more time on that, or like I just can't wrap my head around it, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up, be realistic, but at least go in having seen, you know, all of your cards, having seen all the content. My entire study day is spent on Anki. So is it a little bit exhaustive and redundant kind of? Yes, take breaks, but treat studying definitely like a 9 to 5, especially grad school. Get enough sleep. I get a lot of sleep. I will always, once it's time to close that laptop, it's gonna get closed. That's what drives me to get on my Zoom and to sit and study for however long I need to study for the day, because I do not want to go to bed without having read my little book before bed, without having had a nice dinner, without having gone to the gym. And I also didn't pull any all-nighters. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is by getting your stuff done during the day. You have to. So something that I would do was like, I had a mindless little game on my phone. For me, it's solitaire. I love solitaire. Oh my gosh. So I'll just play like a few rounds of solitaire and then hop back on. If there's ever anything you're like, I can't find anything about this, or I just can't get it in my head, I can't understand it, you need to seek help. You need to go to your professor. You're smart, you know, like you can do it. Do what you have to do. Do mnemonics. I would make those, or look some up. 9 times out of 10, especially when it comes to like anatomy or like systems, there are mnemonics out there already, and I put whatever I want in my Anki. Any additional like random notes, anything funny I thought of that would help me remember it went in my Anki. It would be 200 to 400 cards per deck, and that's very daunting, but I would try to split it up per day so that, you know, I'm getting like, okay, you need to get like 70 done today, you know, 70 done tomorrow, whatever. And that's why I say like try to do it like a 9 to 5. I wasn't very stressed because I woke up, I did however many I needed to do, and I went to bed. And if I didn't do my goal for the day, that's okay. At least I tried, you know, and I did as much as I could that day, because there were some days where the topics were a little bit more intense than other days. And I feel like some people were probably thinking I was talking about like 40 cards. No, that's why I say by the end, I haven't seen all the cards yet. By the last day, I still haven't seen all the cards because I can't. It's impossible for me to have seen all those cards in day one. So break it up, take your time. By the end, like I said, I usually still have cards that were like concepts that I was studying in the beginning. So like, it's not like I've forgotten everything from Tuesday on Thursday or anything like that. No, I literally would like pull out a calculator and say like, okay, I have, you know, 4 days, I have 5 days. And I finish my cards. How many cards do I have? How many do I need to do each day? Break it up into your classes, break it up into concepts, break it up into days, break it up into cards. Do what you have to do, break it up. You're your own boss. Make your own plan. Even if you don't decide to do Anki with like body parts, even if you just like have an image, because sometimes I would just go to Open Labs and take a picture of like an organ or something, and then, or like an organ system, and then label that at home. You need to have labeled it like a million times before you go in. Like, don't just label something once and then look at it over and over again and be like, okay, I got it. Like, no, label it, erase it, label it, erase it, label it, erase it, label it, erase it, until it's literally like ingrained. It's really a matter of active recall. It's just a matter of seeing things a bunch of times until you are the expert on it. You could give a lesson on it. And that's how I go through my cards. I don't just look at a card, look at the front of the card and be like, oh, I think I know it, and then turn it over and be like, yeah, I knew that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I literally look at the front of the card. I teach it to myself. I teach the concept to myself that I know is on the back of the card. And then I look at the back of the card and I make sure that I said that appropriately and that I would be able to explain it. You need to be able to. So you have to be able to at home if you're going to be able to on an exam. Like I said, go in having at least looked at everything once, if not a bunch of times. You're the expert on it. And you wouldn't need to like turn the card around first, to look at it first, to know what the answer is, you know? Because in the exam, you won't be able to do that. I'm not telling you like, oh, just look at it a few times, it'll be all right. Like, no, I'm telling you the truth here. I'm giving you the real answers because, again, this is how I was able to get those kinds of grades. Also, use your Notion, put your calendar into Notion. If you want to put like a little study calendar, study tracker into Notion, do that. If you want a video on Notion, I'll do that. I know that this is like kind of a lot and I'm not trying to stress anyone out. So like I said, let me know if you have any questions. If you're struggling, if you feel really stressed out, if you feel like you're overwhelmed, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than welcome to talk to you and help you because I get it. Like, I know the way I'm describing it seems very like straightforward, but I have my moments too, and I'm not a superhuman at all. And there are days where I have to take a break, and sometimes I do have to take a break that day. If you're an undergrad, then feel free to use these tips and also enjoy your time in undergrad. Especially if you're planning on moving on to further education. Good luck with that. It gets a little intense, but it's really fun. I'm hoping to post some more vet school content, hopefully some vlogs. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.